This is David Saville. Now, what surprising thing happens in a deep coaching conversation? Well, think about this. You're living your life, right? You're living your busy life. Your time is full. From the minute you wake up to the minute you go to sleep, your day is full, even if that includes watching TV or having some fun, which doesn't include that much for enough people. Even then, your life is full, right? Your every moment of every day is filled. And what that means is that when you have conversations with people, they tend to stay on the surface. So, you talk at each other. You share one thing, then someone shares something else, and you talk like that. In England, for instance, in the UK, it's particularly relevant when you meet people for the first time. Talk about the weather, right? Because you've got nothing really in common that you know of. So let's talk about the weather. Wasn't it rainy today? Wasn't it lovely sunshine today? I mean, yeah, it doesn't exactly fill you with awe-inspiring depth of conversation. Now, even with your friends, even when you spend time talking with your friends, there's always an element of they're waiting to say something in some way. They've got their opinion or their story to share, and so there's always a limit to how far you go. And what this means is you're missing out on something quite profound. Now, when you enter into a deep coaching conversation, everyone I speak to a minimum of 2 hours. That's 2 hours up to 6 hours actually is the longest I've spent in one go. Coaching you, spending time, finding out what it is that you want, what your fears are, what your hopes, what your dreams are. What are all your aspirations for your life, the things that you're disappointed with, the things that you wish had happened, your regrets, and the things that you'd love to happen in the future. Spending hours and hours talking about that. How often have you done that in your life? How often have you had someone be there just for you? Where, as a coach, it's my job to just be a mirror for you, to reflect back what you really think and feel, beyond anything you've ever been able to appreciate or acknowledge. And then to challenge you on your deeply held beliefs, to ask you questions that no one else would ever think to ask, and for you to dig deep to answer them. Because for every conversation I have, there are certain conditions that need to be agreed to for it to take place, because how you show up to it matters. So you have to be fully and deeply honest. You've got to be willing to go to the places that scare you. You need to give quality time to it. So there's no rushing off at the beginning, rushing to the call or rushing away from the call. You have to be fully present with it to get the most from it. So the surprising thing that happens, this is why a coaching conversation, one single coaching conversation for 2 to 3, for how many hours, is life-changing. It's a catalyst for change because of that, because it's something that you probably have never experienced in your entire life, especially in the way that I'd ask you questions, or whoever your coach is would ask you questions and challenge you. It's just not something that people do. They might argue with you, but they're not challenging you with the caring and focus that a coach brings to you when you enter into a coaching relationship. Now, if you imagine having that, and then having that repeatedly, every other week, or every week, every other week, once a month, for a period of time, each one of those, then it's like a snowball, at the top of a mountain. By the time it gets to the bottom, it's massive. The actual exponential growth within you is untapped. I mean, a client recently said to me, for her, it was like an awakening. Moving from a place of fear and a place of lacking to a place of possibility, a place of creation. And this year is going to be big for her, really big. So yeah, that's the secret. That's the surprising thing that happens that most people don't realize, that I used to laugh at when I used to do NLP and hypnosis stuff, because I thought you have to do techniques. What's all this talking stuff? Talking, it's not just talking. It's going deep into your world. How you create your world, how you see your world, shapes your experience of your life. By getting it reflected back to you, you get to see things differently. And then when you do that, you get to do things differently from then on. So that's why a single conversation is life-changing for most people. Now, If you want to have one of those conversations, or at least you'd like to find out what that might be like, you could message me directly at david@davidsaville.co.uk. But I'm also curious to know, have you experienced one of these life-changing conversations, either with me or with someone else? And if you have, comment below. I'd love to know what your experience was like. And even if you think it's a load of crap, I'd love to know that too, because it's important for me to know who's watching this and what you think. So comment below.